Hello, and welcome to Drive Time with KJ. I'm your host, KJ Bell. This is the show where I get in my car and I start complaining about things as I drive around. You join us in progress. I am already driving around because I didn't want to start in the dark parking garage. Today, we're talking about why restaurants are awful. First, let's just consider the concept of a restaurant, shall we? You go to a building, you sit in a room with a bunch of strangers. Someone hands you a list of food items, you point at one, and then they bring you that item, and then you give them the other piece of paper that we have established value to in exchange. It's really odd when you consider all that. And I mean, like, restaurants are expensive. It gets like, you can easily go to one and spend $40 as a single person on just an entree that leaves you still hungry at the end of the meal. Like, it's ridiculous. Those do tend to be the upscale ones, you know, and there can be a little bit of a snobbery there. It's like, I know that I don't belong here, but I saved up for weeks for this meal, so can you tone it down, please? And that's usually coming from the other patrons, I find. Not necessarily the wait staff, because the staff understands, mostly. And usually that $40 entree, like, you could make it 85, I'm gonna say 85% of the time, you could make a version at home. Maybe not as upscale, maybe not as decadent, maybe not as deconstructed. That's a thing they like to do. But you could make a version of it at home for like a tenth of the price. Really? Okay, hello, hi, hello. Did you even look? I swear, these people. I also don't like, a lot of upscale restaurants will have an attendant in the bathroom, and I don't need that. I don't need somebody who will hear everything that goes on and then expect a tip for giving me a towel at the end. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't tip them, because you should. That person is making, that person needs money too. I'm just saying that role is weird, and I don't want that. I don't think that should be a thing that we have as a society. There's a person parked in diagonally in 3 spots right there, and I'm so tempted to like get out and key their car. You go to some of these really fancy places, and just the level of pretentiousness can be far too much. And anytime you go to any of these places and there are children running around, I'm bitter. It's not quite as bad as seeing children in first class, but it's close. It's very close. It's like, oh, you came to this fancy place that I'm spending half of my paycheck on, and you ordered chicken fingers and mac and cheese that you could get anywhere? Oh, that's cool. You brought your spawn here? Wonderful. That's great for you. Ugh. The common theme whenever I bring up children in any of these videos is that I don't have a problem with children. I have an issue with their parents. And that I feel is completely justified in a multitude of ways. So you have like the upscale restaurants, and then you have like the sort of the family, the chains and such, the sort of family restaurants, you know, your Applebee's, your Chili's, your TGI's F. TGI's Friday? That's still a thing, right? Right? I don't know. I don't know if I've ever been to one of those. I used to go to Applebee's a lot because it was the only place in town, in my college town, that was open late with a bar. So that's where we would go after concerts. And they actually made really good margaritas. I was surprised. And those sort of places, like, almost inevitably come with children running around. And I just, you know how I feel about children running amok. Just have some control, or don't bring them. It's not that hard. Lock them in a closet. No, don't lock your children in a closet for a nice night out, okay? That's really bad. Don't do that. That's what we call child abuse in the almost said in the industry. What? What industry? Okay, we're going here because I want a Coke. Mama needs a Coke. Mama needs some carbonation and some caffeine. And you are taking up the entire exit of the parking lot. And we can continue ranting and raving in the drive-thru. That'll be a fun time, right? Fun time in the drive-thru. So we have ordered, so we can continue talking about restaurants. And not the fast food kind, which I'm currently at in a drive-thru establishment. So the family restaurants, like, if you bring your children, nothing to me says a great night out like toddlers screaming and throwing food while kindergartners run laps around a table and a teenager sits in sullen silence on their phone and answers questions in that annoyed teenager voice. Like, is that really enjoyable for you? Okay. My favorite is the this may be controversial. There's that trend of gentle parenting. And I think the idea is good. The problem, I think, is that people misunderstand it. And it doesn't mean that you don't have control of the child. But I think that's what a lot of people... I appreciate... Could we please settle down? I appreciate your energy and your self-expression, but I'm just not sure that this is the best time for that. Like that. Okay, no. Be a little, you still need to be a parent, okay? The plus side of going to one of those places that like caters to families and children is you might get crayons. You might get something to color on. I enjoy that. I think that's fun on occasion when it happens. We're still in this line. I'm going to finish the video in this line. I might have time to do the fast food one in addition to this. And those family chainy places usually come with a wide menu to appeal to a bunch of people. I mean, it's almost a cliche at this point, but the Cheesecake Factory menu is like a textbook. It is. I would hate to work there. Those poor people. Oh, such a big menu. Which, that is part of the problem at some restaurants is they have these gigantic menus and you like get paralyzed by choice. Like, it's like, what do I want? What do I get? I don't know. It doesn't help when you ask the server for suggestions because they're like trained to give all of it's good. Really, Tracy? All of it's good? You can tell me. You can tell me the truth. Does your boss have you wired right now? Blink twice if you need help, Tracy. I never really know what I want until they ask me. I narrow it down to like 3 things, and then I don't know which one I'm going to get until they say, and you? That's a problem for some people in my life. What are you going to have? I don't know. So yeah, I never really know what I'm going to get until they ask me. And sometimes I surprise myself with what comes out of my mouth. But there are people in my life who every time we go out to eat, what are you going to have? I don't know. It's one of these 4 things. I don't know which one. Well, which one looks good? I don't know. I won't know until they ask me. It's even more annoying when they do that. Like, you've had the menu in your hand for 10 seconds. What are you going to have? I don't know. I haven't even opened the menu yet. Can you calm down? Calm down. I love a good server. And sometimes you can just tell that you're not going to have one. What are we doing? Okay, you're turning left. See, turn signals are a nice thing to use. I say as I don't use mine. Okay, yes, I'm a hypocrite. I know this. We've covered this. Like, you know the kind of server, the one that you see for drinks, and then they order, and then maybe they bring you your food. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes somebody else brings you the food, and then when they bring the check, which, if it all depends on context, because sometimes you go to a place and it's packed, and I don't blame them at all for that, right? And then sometimes it's just like, where are you? But I always tip them, even if they're bad. The thing is if they're bad, I tip the bare minimum of the 20%, because that's what we're doing now. You're doing at least 20%, right? Okay. It's astounding that they don't make a livable wage, and that there are people who are like, you should have done this if you wanted your tip. Okay, how about you not be an asshole? Or we work to make it to where we have a better system that actually helps people. But you know, that's a whole other video. That's a whole other video series. And then, you know, they do that thing, and I know some of them do it on purpose, you can tell, where they come to ask you how the food is as soon as you've taken a bite. And it's and it's like, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. I wasn't going to complain because I'm not, unless my food is raw, the chances of me complaining about it are like slim to none. I don't like the confrontation. And you know, there are some times where you go and you could have the best server on the planet, but the service will be bad and it's not their fault. Like, I occasionally get a craving for a midnight pancake. So I will occasionally find myself, actually this hasn't happened since the pandemic, but pre-pandemic, I would occasionally find myself at an IHOP at midnight. And I went in there one time and it was weirdly packed and there was only one server, and the poor guy, I tipped him extra. I think I tipped him like 150% that time, because I knew there were people that weren't because the service was bad, but it wasn't his fault. There were too many people. I hate calculating the tip though, like that, like the math of it is just, and I know there's all those tricks of like, you just move the decimal and then change this number to that number and just move the decimal. I can never remember them. I would love to get to the point where I am financially stable enough to just slap a large bill down and call it a day, you know? It's like, oh, my meal was $20. Here's a $50 for you, server. I want to be that person. But, you know, I can't be that person right now. It's not financially viable at the moment. I'm not solvent enough. Sometimes you have to leave and they haven't brought the check, and you don't want to be that asshole that like does the check thing in the air, because that just looks obnoxious. But it's like, I'm so sorry, I'm sorry, hello, hi. Flagging them down can be a struggle sometimes. And again, I don't usually blame them, because usually in those situations it's busy. If it's not busy, once again, where are you? What are you doing? Did you go on break and not tell anybody? What happened? So that's why restaurants are awful. Make sure you like and subscribe, and may your drive be better than mine. And we're about to go through one of these. So they're scattered throughout West Hollywood. There are these intersections that are roundabouts with stop signs. And I'm fairly certain that the purpose of a roundabout is to slow the traffic without having to come to a complete stop, because you're supposed to just yield and so that there's a flow. But these ones have stop signs. It's like, either do the roundabout or just do a four-way stop intersection. I don't understand. Somebody make it make sense, please. Someone? Anyone?